Okay, we're live. Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. Welcome to my Tyler Talk, my TED Talk. So I wanted to come live because I wanted to talk about the tariffs, honestly. And basically, I'm very optimistic about the tariffs, and I feel like they're a good idea. But also, I thought, before I get into all that, what else is on my mind? What else has been happening with me? Well, first of all, you can see, right? I'm inside doing the video, the stream, and I don't feel great about that because I prefer to be outside at one of my different spots at the church where I can be outside. Thing is I went to the church earlier today to do this stream like about an hour ago. As soon as I sat down, all these like worms started falling on me, and that freaked me out. I started having like really bad anxiety. So I had to come home, throw my whole outfit in the wash, even though it was like a brand new, freshly laundered outfit. I had to take a shower. I just had to get clean because I felt like, I never even heard of this. Is this like what is even happening right now? Like, I was sitting at the regular spot down by the outdoor shrine, and there's like a row of pine trees that are behind it. And at first I thought, like, I don't know, there's like little parts of flowers or, I don't know, some kind of plant thing. It's just plant stuff, material being blown about by the wind. But then, it was on my shirt, and as I looked more closely, I was like, what the hell? That's like a worm. That's like some kind of larva. What even is that? How is this even, what are they, just like in the trees and they're just dropping down? Like, that's weird, bro. I gotta get out of here. And I also thought, like, oh, this is almost like, I don't like to use this terminology. I think it's sort of misleading, but basically like, oh, this is a sign. I'm not even gonna make this video. It's not meant to be. The worm god emperor of mankind is here because of the worms, right? I don't like worms. The worm is a sickness. And so yeah, so that happened. That was not great. I even have more to say about it, but some things are of the dark and prefer to be in the dark, and you could just keep them in the dark. So maybe I'll do that. I think I'll do that. What else is new? We had a crazy thunderstorm here last night. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's related to the worm thing. It's like when the trees get like from the rain, and then it makes like the larva come out to hatch because of the moisture or something. I don't know. But either way, it was like, basically I had thought to myself, or I had the inner inspiration that this is like a 10-year storm. I cannot even remember the last time that I heard thunder so loud. Or I felt like, the last time that I felt like lightning is striking like right outside my door. Like, normally, like, you see lightning like far away and you're like, oh, there's lightning like way over there. But I just felt like the lightning is like right on top of me. The thunder is right on top of me, and it was so loud. It was like, it's been so long since I heard thunder like that. I forgot it could even, it was like strange for a second. Like, it's literally, there's just this sound that just comes out of the void, and it's everywhere, and it's so loud. Like, it's not like I was outside. I was in my house. Like, all the doors and windows were shut, and it was still so loud. I was like, how is that even like possible? What even is thunder? Like, how does it work like physically? Like, so we had a crazy storm. We must have had a crazy storm. Now, I can't actually, there's only so much I can actually like presume about the storm, because like I said recently, for the last like week or so, all my windows have been covered up with blankets and curtains and tin foil, and it's like I can't really see through the windows. I don't really even know what's out there. But even with all that, it was like I could still see like the lightning was clearly like it was crazy. So we had a crazy storm last night. The worms, we had I had a visit from the Worm God Emperor. There was a crazy storm. I started watching this TV show. Just came out on Netflix yesterday. I almost finished it because it's only an 8-episode miniseries, but it's called Devil May Cry, like based off the old games. Holy, in a lot of ways, it's great, and I really love it. In another sense, I feel like it's just kind of bland and generic, and a little too much like. First of all, a little too bright. I feel like it's just bright. Like literally the color palette and the brightness, it just seems really bright. Now, I never even played Devil May Cry, but I definitely grew up around it. And I remember I used to have a babysitter who would come over to our house to watch my brother and I would watch him play it. And I always got the impression that this is like a dark game. Like literally the colors are dark. The themes are dark. What you do in the game is dark. There's like demons and you're killing them with a sword and it's just like dark. But then I'm like watching the show and it's like so bright. It's just like a bright sunny day. We're just gonna go fight the demons and it's like, this is weird. So I felt like my favorite parts about the show are well, it's what I would call like disclosure, basically, which is like the idea that like, well, this is presented to you or disclosed to the public as like a fictional TV show, but actually it's sort of like, but it's disclosing things that are actually true in real life. Like it's not just a TV show. Like this isn't all just fantasy imagination, like made up stuff. It's like either based on things that are real, so it's very similar to how things really are, or it's just straight up like what's going on. But it's like it's so radically fantastical to what people's ordinary expectations of the world are, and their like presumptions of how the world are. The only way, like, I don't know, like if you would try to release this as like a documentary, nobody would believe you. So it's actually more effective to like get that information out by just say it's a TV show. Just say it's a cartoon or a video game or whatever, but it's basically real. Like this is how it really is. I would say like that was my favorite part of the show. My less favorite parts, like I said, was like just the color palette. I guess like the personality of the character Dante. He's like the main character like of Devil May Cry, the guy named Dante. So he's like a half demon, half human, and his name's Dante. I just felt like I said, I never played the game, so maybe that's how that character really is. But I got the feeling that like, why did they make him like this? Like he's just so like happy-go-lucky, like making his silly little jokes, and I'm like, I don't know, it just had a very like, how should I say, you know how like you can almost criticize some things for taking themselves too seriously and insisting upon themselves, and that's like sometimes that really is like a true and fair like critique. Like it insists upon itself. I feel like it's the same thing but in the complete opposite. Like it takes itself, they treat the character Dante so unseriously that it's like, I guess I find it hard to be relatable sometimes. Like this doesn't even feel like a real person. Like who, like the way that he like nobody talks that way. Like I don't get it. Like it's just weird. But pretty fun show. And then the other stuff that was just like meh for me is like, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff with like disclosure. The general concepts of the show and the themes and the ideas are cool, and the plot, the way that the plot moves is cool. But that is basically like a minority of like the screen time or the show. Most of it is like, you know, there's this like slowly unraveling mystery, and then also like a big portion of the screen time is just like what I would call like generic action sequences, like just fight scenes. Like, okay, we're gonna fight the demons, and like I'm shooting guns and he's got a sword, and it's like, you know, I know some people really love that. And straight up, this is probably like a kids show. Not like a kids show, but like for like young adults or teenagers, right? So if you are a young adult or a teenager and that's like new for you and that's cool for you, that's like amazing. But for me, it's like I've seen, this is like the 100th time that I've seen this. So it's like, okay, we get it. Like they're gonna fight. Like, can we just get back to the story, or like what's gonna happen? I guess I just feel like I wasn't like really invested in the fights, or like really felt attached to the fights. And maybe I felt like, like this guy's the hero and these guys are the demons. And like I was saying, like, I just got the feeling that it was just so presumed that this guy was going to win anyways. Oh, and that brings me back to, there is one character who's like not, it's just a regular human girl. Her name's Mary. Literally, her name's Mary. And now when I think about it, it's like there's just this Mary Sue character, like, not that maybe I'm using that term incorrectly, but like just this crazy girl boss character, and she's like, it's just like crazy, bro. It's like, so anytime that pretty much all the fights in the show, like I just really sort of turned my brain off, like straight up. Like I almost like I probably just like stopped watching the show wholly, because I'll have the show on and I'll have my phone like within arm's reach. Like anytime like the fights come on, I just like pick up my phone to like check Reddit or something. So yeah, I just finished episode 7, so I'm on episode 8, and it's only 8 episodes, so basically I'm on the season finale. Kind of curious to see what happens. Guess I have a pretty good idea about what's gonna happen. So yeah, that happened. That's been pretty cool. Anything new? Oh, I kind of got sick. I had like a cold. So today's Friday. Normally today I would go hang out with my grandma so we could pray the rosary together, but I mean, I don't want my cold that could be contagious to give her a cold. And also yesterday on Thursday, normally, like, especially recently, the last month or so, she and we go together to play bingo. So I didn't do that either because of my cold. I woke up early today, earlier than normal. It was like 7 or 7:30 when I woke up. Oh, my back pain got a lot better, by the way, if anyone remembers that. Basically, I found like a new like formation of how I like all my various like pillows to be arranged for maximum comfort. And I found like, well, if I specifically use like these pillows in this way, it changes my posture, ever so much, and I think it's better on my back. So that was a big help. That's probably about it. We went Oh, this is big news too. I started HRT again just yesterday. I picked up the prescriptions yesterday. I actually feel how should I even say about this? It's less like optimistic and more just like accepting, comfort. I don't know. I feel like the last time I took HRT, it was literally like I have all these hopes and dreams and aspirations, and like I'm gonna stop existing and someone else is gonna start existing, and it's gonna be so cool. And I feel like now I kind of am feeling a different idea. Like, more like, for sure. Not that I want to stop being me and be another person, but more that, like, I just want to... something to do with, like, I don't know, like, uplifting the already present me. So it's less about, like, killing myself and being reborn, and it's more about, like, nurturing whatever self that I already have. Something I used to do when I used to take hormones is that I took the like serum injections that you needed to use a syringe. And I think over time, that like really messed with me in a mental way, psychologically. Because for one thing, you're doing the injections with the needle, which just already has a different vibe, right? Compared to just like taking pills, right? I just got pills this time. The other thing too is like when you do it with the needles, it's like You make your injection and then you're done, like for a week. You don't even think about it. And I do kind of remember, now that I think back on it, I think I used to have a lot of anxiety about my transition and how violently I was like forcing my body to comply, and how like basically I would get it into my head like, I don't even want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But it only takes 2 minutes to do the injection, and then I can just forget about it for another week. And it would be almost like this. So it was like I basically got into this weekly ritual. And what does that remind you of? It makes me think of like going to church on Sunday. It's literally a weekly ritual to honor God. But it was like an inversion. I had like a weekly ritual of like torturing myself and like being abusive to myself. It was literally like a satanic black mass ritual when you think about it. It's like my weekly ritual of intentionally violating my own conscience, poisoning myself, having like a panic attack and anxiety, not dealing with that at all, and then just ignoring it. Like it was so abusive on like so many levels. Like basically hearing the cries of the innocent saying, please don't do this, doing it anyways, and then they're like crying because of what I did, and I just ignore them and walk away until next week. Like it was straight up evil. And I feel like, I don't know how I got away with it. I think the reason that I got away with it for so long is kind of like the so-called victim and the so-called like criminal were basically the same person. And I was like, so if you want to like comfort the victim, you have to comfort me, but I'm the criminal. Which means like if you want to persecute the criminal, you have to persecute me, but I'm the victim. So you just like can't do anything. Nobody can do anything, right? If I just want to hurt myself, like nobody can really do anything. If you bring me to justice, you're like persecuting the victim. Or if you rescue the victim, you're like, I don't know, I forgot what fancy, I forgot what I was going to say, but you get, maybe you get the idea. Like basically like you can't really punish the bad guy or rescue the good guy without like inversely like harming the other person like illegally. So it was really bad. It was really bad. Now this time I just felt like, and in a certain sense I felt like, well, I like the injections because I want the maximum effectiveness, and the pills aren't as good. But again, like I feel like I have a sort of like a different philosophy that like I don't necessarily want to stop being who I am right now and just be someone else. Although maybe I kind of do, and I'm just coping with like my low expectations of what's possible. But more like I just want to, unify and synthesize different parts of myself and bring them into harmony with one another, like, two parts together in one body. And so it's not like I don't even really want to kill the first part. I still want the first part, and I want like a second part now, right? So I'm not sure I really even want to have the most effective like transformation, because I still actually want to hold on to, maybe I wouldn't say hold on to or like cling to, but I still have respect for like where I came from, who I started as. I just feel like I feel way healthier about it this time. For me, this time, I feel like, being on hormones again and in some way identifying as like a transgender person, it's way less about the vanity and the superficial appearance of it. And for me now, I feel like it's way more of like an intrinsic and invisible, just like some kind of feeling or vibe. I guess it'd be hard to explain. I don't know, just like an inner, like, psychological nature of something. So anyways, I started taking these pills, no more injections, which I think I just have trauma. But I kind of have a feeling like if this goes well for a while, probably I would actually go back to injections again. But either way, I just want to wade into the water this time instead of like diving in head first. I feel like that was a big, um, like I used to, sometimes I, have these regrets to myself saying like, why did I sabotage myself? I was so happy as a trans person, or I was just so happy as the person that I was. But I felt like I couldn't hold on to it, and it was like slipping away, and I was like, it was like trying to hold sand as it's like, falling out of your fingers. Like you can't hold on to that. And yeah, so I feel like it's because I kind of did it in that like violent, all of a sudden way. And I was like, it was like a very like, I feel like it was fundamentally doomed to fail, right? Like Jesus would call it like a house divided against itself cannot stand. I feel like that's basically what happened. Like I was like, well, the original me, you know, is gonna die, and the new me is gonna be born. And it's like, but I'm not dead. I'm still alive. So that just like doesn't make sense. Hey, thanks for the follow. So anyway, so I got the pills now. Nice thing about the pills, you have to take them every day, twice a day. So it's like every single, it's just more of a continuous like, is this what I want? Like, yes. And is this what I want tomorrow? Yes. Instead of like, I'm just going to do it once a week and forget about it. So anyways, I probably said too much about the whole HRT thing, but that happened. So yeah, I guess maybe I'll talk about the tariffs now. My name's Tyler. Yep. Cool thing about everything I was just saying about the HRT, when you think about it, Tyler is, it's actually like a gender neutral name. Like I've known both boys and girls, men and women named Tyler. So in a weird way, it kind of is like the perfect name for me, I feel like. Who'd have thought? Yeah. I mean, I want to talk about the tariffs. I guess I don't have that much to say. I just kind of am like, I guess, is the word like bullish? I feel like I'm bullish on the tariffs. Like I have like a good feeling about the tariffs. And I think I'm just like hopeful, and I'm willing to give them a chance and be more optimistic. And like, I kind of feel like the tariffs could really work out. What's the struggle that I'm having? I don't think I'm having them. I don't know. I mean, I was talking about the trans thing, so I'm guessing that's what you're referring to. I don't know if I'd say I'm struggling, but I just started HRT yesterday. But this is like something that I've been on and off of for years and years. Because it's 2025 now, right? The first time I took hormones was in 2018. So it's been 7 years. Really more like 6 years, because it's only the very beginning of 2025, but either way. So I was like on HRT for like 3 or 4 years, and then I was off HRT for like 3 or 4 years, and now it's been about 6 or 7 years. I don't know, maybe like 3.5, something like that. I was on for 3.5, I was off for 3.5, and now I'm gonna go back on. But so back to the tariffs thing, I just kind of felt like, I mean, first of all, I feel like it's new for me and kind of like a big step for me to feel like pretty much I agree with anything that I hear on the Majority Report or from Emma Vigeland and Sam Cedar. But in this case, I kind of really strongly had this feeling and felt like I had the inspiration that like, I just like disagree. And I feel like most of the videos that I've made in the past, or most of the time that I've had something I wanted to talk about and like do on a live stream, I always make the stream just to agree with and like give my support to like what I already heard. So this is like one of the first times that I'm actually really like responding, and like I just like disagree basically. And it feels like, yep, we started the tariffs. I think it was a day ago or 2 days ago, maybe. I think it was on the 2nd. Today's the 4th. I don't know. And it's like every headline and every everything that I'm hearing, at least from my sources and my world and my bubble, is like, what a moron. President Trump is a complete idiot. You can tell he just used Chat GPT. He's just making up random numbers. And look, the stock market is tanking. It's crashing. Everything's doomed. And I just kind of feel like, I mean, well, I mean, first of all, like, those are basically like facts, right? Like, so I'm not really like trying to challenge that. Like, I guess the stock market is like way down, and I guess like they've like reversed engineered the calculations that the president and his team used to like determine these tariffs, and apparently it's like a wild technique. But I still feel like, but the general idea is like, maybe not even the general idea. Maybe it's wrong to go at this from like a rational, reasoned, like angle. Basically, I just have a good feeling about it. Like I had this inspired feeling that I feel like is something that I receive from the Holy Spirit. It's not just something that I made on my own. It was like given to me that like, this is gonna probably be good. I feel like this is gonna be good. And then like, so from there, I sort of like went backwards to think about, that's when I brought in like the reason and the rationale and the logic to try to think about what would be good about it, or how is this gonna be good? How could I even defend this if I wanted to defend this? I kind of feel like, so the stock market being down is like, well, so the investor class is down, like slightly down too, let's be honest. Like the stock market's down maybe like 5%. Like, I guess that could be a lot in total number. Like, we lost trillions of dollars, but it's like, doesn't it go up and down by like whatever? Like every couple days or every week it goes up and down. Like, I don't know. And I just basically, though, I just felt like the tariffs are going to be great for like the largest like quantity of people. Like most people who are in the middle class or the working class or the lower class, like most regular people who now, because of like foreign goods being tariffed for import, like they're not going to have to compete. Like the value of their labor isn't going to have to compete with the value of like foreign, third world, super exploitative, like cheap labor. Because the advantage of, like the free market kind of like advantages importing goods where the labor cost is like $1 per hour. Like, just someone from Bangladesh like makes Nikes in a factory for $1 an hour. But then here in America, if you want to actually like have the standard life, or like keep up with the standard of living here, like if you want to take care of yourself and your children and make investments for your future, you need to be making like $25-30 an hour. So how could you ever compete with these imported products that are made for $1 an hour? It's just like, so I feel like the tariffs, and so basically I feel like because that's been the situation for so long, what it has done is like, it's driven down the value of American labor for so long. Like, wages are so depressed. Nobody has any money for anything. And it's not just like, oh, well, the corporations are evil and greedy. It's like the corporations legally have to pay you like as little money as possible, or they're breaking the law, because they work for their shareholders and they're required by law to provide them the most amount of profit possible. So they're not just going to like voluntarily, as an act of charity, like pay you higher wages. That's only going to happen if there's like external, either like laws or union actions or something. And so since unions are not really like a big deal here, I feel like the government enacting these laws for the tariffs is maybe like the next best thing. I'm thinking like wages are going to go up for people. And then like the counter argument, I guess, or like what it seems like, see, I feel like the thing that mostly everybody is concerned about is that prices of consumer goods are going to increase. And like, obviously, right? I don't disagree. I'm not here to like gaslight you and be like, oh no, prices will be the same. Like, no, I think prices are going to go up. But I just feel like, I personally feel like that's kind of weirdly short sighted and so narrowly focused. Like, isn't there so many other consequences and effects of these tariffs besides only prices are going to go up? Like, I feel like a lot of other stuff is going to change too. And I don't know what all those other things are, but I just, like I was saying, I just have a good feeling. I have a good feeling, basically. And, so yeah. And the other thing too is about the tariffs. It's not like the money is just like, how should I say? Like the tariffs that are collected are paid to the government as revenue anyways. So in a certain sense, I still feel like, how should I say? The tariffs are collected by the government as revenue for the government, and then the cost of those tariffs is passed on to the consumer in order to pay for the tariffs. So this is why people say that the tariffs are just a taxes with an extra step. It's basically just a tax on regular purchase. It's basically like a sales tax with extra steps. But yeah, that's just more money for the government to maybe even implement something like universal basic income, or just general investments into social services or infrastructure, or probably like military stuff or whatever. But it's not like, again though, any revenue that the government takes in, it's just reinvested back into the country and to the people who live in it anyways. So I feel like if the government is like taking in more revenue from all these tariffs, maybe we can get like universal health care. Maybe we can get like student loan forgiveness, or some kind of like federalized like free college for young people. And I think it kind of couples well with, although here's where I kind of disagree, like the Doge department is like cutting out all the wasteful spending. So it's like, well, we'll cut out all the nonsense spending that's just wasteful anyways. And now we're going to have way more revenue from the tariffs. So the money that we are bringing in is actually going to be used on American people to like make things better for them. So you could say like, well, the tariffs are going to make the price of goods go up. So now things are unaffordable. Hey, thanks for tuning into the stream. But now the government has more money to like help the people who are in poverty. So I don't know. And then like while all this is happening in the short term, I feel like you have increased industry. I feel like prices go, not prices, but yes, prices, but like the value of labor increases, which means like workers are literally paid higher wages. And honestly, maybe we should really think about some kind of invisible and immeasurable spiritual effect. Like if it is true that for decades and decades, like basically like as the president is claiming, that like all these other nations have been taking advantage of us and exploiting our goodwill and basically like, I don't know, just like bullying us or like something like that. Like if we've been in an abusive relationship for so long, to finally like set up healthy boundaries and like remove yourself from that situation, like that's got to be good for you, I feel like. Just as a general principle, right? That pertains not only to the tariffs, but to anybody, right? Like if you're in a relationship with like some abusive man and he's always exploiting you and like extracting some kind of wealth or value from you, and he doesn't respect you or anything, if you like set up healthy boundaries and like change the dynamic of that relationship, like that's good for you. So I'm saying like as a country, these tariffs, like possibly setting up a similar situation, like that could be good for us too, like psychologically, which is just like, those are the kind of like rebound effects that I don't know if you could really measure that, but what effect does that have on anything, right? Innovation or creativity or just commitment to this or that, like, like what effect does that have on the hypothetical person from the scenario, right? Like the abused and exploited woman in a relationship. Things get better for her, so I guess it could get better for our country. So yeah, I think that was mostly it about the tariffs. I actually feel very optimistic about the tariffs. So I guess, like, what do I disagree about? Like, I'm listening to the majority report, and I suddenly got the feeling that, like, well, you guys are just against the tariffs because you're against Donald Trump first. And maybe you are against the tariffs, like, on their own merits and for their own reasons. But I feel like it comes from a place of, like, firstly, you're against Donald Trump on principle, just because he's a bad, greedy, selfish, mean, bully person. So anything that he proposes, even if it is a good idea or could be a good idea, you're just against it as, like, a non-starter. You're not even going to give it a chance. So that's, like, kind of what I disagreed about. And it really made me think of the old saying, and is this called an aphorism? Is that what they call these? The old aphorism of, like, well, don't shoot the messenger just because you don't like the message. So I felt like, well, in this case, President Trump is the messenger, but his new policy on the tariffs is the message. So just because you don't like the messenger, just because you don't like President Trump and you think he's like an evil person, an evil man, doesn't mean like everything he does is bad. Like maybe some of these, I kind of have like a good feeling about the tariffs. Like, and I feel like this probably describes me. Like, I don't like the deportations without due process. I don't like the thing with the like targeting foreign refugee asylum seekers who are coming to our country. I really don't like that. But and honestly, I don't really like the Doge thing either. I don't like you just like raiding government departments and deleting contracts that you like personally disagree with, that you personally disapprove of, even though it's been like appropriated by Congress, and then claiming that that's fraud and waste and abuse. I don't really like that. So I don't like the Doge stuff. I don't like the deportations. And let's not even get into how I feel about Donald Trump as a person. But here on the tariffs thing, I actually kind of feel like, hold up, I'm at least willing to give this one a chance. And I do feel like there's a lot of room that it could go really bad. But I kind of feel like there's a lot of room here that this could really go good, to be honest. So, yeah, that's kind of, I guess that inspired me to want to make this video. Another one of those aphorisms that I thought about is like, well, they said that even a broken clock is still right twice a day. Because if the hands on the clock don't move and it's just stuck permanently on one time, every now and then, like, that time does come around. So, like, even if President Donald Trump is a broken person, every now and then he can still, like just as a general concept, right? Even good people sometimes do bad things, and even bad people sometimes do good things, like. And I'd like to just give people their flowers where they're due. Or I'd like to, yeah, maybe that doesn't apply here, but I felt like saying I'd prefer to judge someone by the content of their character than by anything else, basically. So, yeah, like, he's a billionaire. We don't like billionaires, but it's like, but I thought you like civil rights. Like, what do you mean? So what is the content of his policies? Not just that he's a billionaire, we don't like him. Like, he's black, we don't like him. It's like, what? He's a billionaire, so we don't like him, right? Yeah, maybe that was inappropriate to bring up here. Maybe. I think that's about it. I really hope the tariffs do work out well. I feel pretty good about them. Maybe it's not right to say I feel good, but like I was saying, I at least feel open-minded. I see potential for sure. I feel optimistic. And also, I feel like whatever potential success there is in these, like, new tariffs, is at least partially determined by how people are willing to react. Like, if the president wants to come up with this idea, and then the so-called fake news just brainwashes everybody into being all doom and gloom and just like presuming, like, preemptively that these tariffs are doomed to fail, I think that is seriously going to have like some contributing effect to that really happening. So I did kind of feel like, well, I at least can kind of fight back against that, right? Like, let's just, let things settle for a little bit. Like, I feel like these tariffs could actually be really good for us. So let's not just like panic because prices are going up, or panic because the stock market is going down. And personally, like, I think I was kind of wrong for this, because I would like to see everybody rise up together and not like certain groups of people rise up at the expense of others. But I do feel like for a long time, the investor class has been rising up at the expense of the working class. Like, the stock market always goes up and wages never go up. So it's like, for once, we're going to implement a policy that I am hopeful is going to like actually raise wages for workers. And, the stock market is temporarily going down just a little bit, and it's like the end of the world. And I just feel like, yeah, so yeah, I feel pretty good, actually. All right, I think that's the end of my video. That was everything I wanted to talk about anyways. Thanks for the couple people that came into the chat. Thanks everyone else listening. Peace be with you. Amen. Blessings upon you. May the Lord bless you in the name of Jesus. Amen.